Welcome to Third Eye Roll, where ancient wisdom gets decoded, demystified, and occasionally roasted. I'm Dr. Justine Lemos with Scarlet Trillia, here to serve up Vedic insights, spiritual real talk, and a healthy dose of side-eye. Each episode, we're diving into Vedic astrology, Ayurveda, Tantra, and the weird beauty of being human, with segments like cosmic, current events, story time with the Vedas and Shastras, WTF is that? And a mystic mic drop to leave you lit. No gurus, no fluff, just the good stuff. Welcome back to Third Eye Roll. I'm Dr. Justine Lemos today. I'm here with Emily McConnell, and we have some bandsawing going in the background, so that's exciting. It also feels actually really appropriate for today, the Jyotish, and also what we're planning to talk about on the podcast. But how are you doing, Emily?
I'm doing a little whirly, but feeling pretty good.
All right. Well, tomorrow we are rolling deep into a big old pot of ghee, big old pot of oil, because we're talking about Panchakarma, Ayurveda's infamous detox, or infamous, it's like the Ayurvedic equivalent of surgery, which is Mars in Virgo. And it's also that bandsaw that's just going upstairs. That's just going to go off and on during our podcast today. We apologize to our readers.
Perfect.
It is perfect, if not a little bit annoying. And, Emily is also an Ayurvedic counselor and has worked in our Panchakarma that we offer here several times. So you're deeply knowledgeable about Panchakarma and what it is.
From our experiences, it has been really fun, super nourishing, and also exciting. And we can talk more about that as we go into our discussion.
Right. So let's talk about what is...
Oh yeah, it's a little delayed. I think you just have to leave and then come back.
Let's see. I can always cut things out, which is really great, but everything is freaking out today because we're talking about Panchakarma.
Of course.
Panchakarma, from Sanskrit, pancha means 5, and karma means action. And so in Ayurveda, there are 5 main actions of cleansing to remove deep-seated toxins, or what we call ama, and to balance the doshas, vata, pitta, kapha. And so we'll talk about a little bit about ama and a little bit about what those 5 traditional actions are. Now, in a so-called Panchakarma, we don't necessarily do all of those actions. In fact, some of them are rarely done, but we can understand what they are. So Ayurveda says that disease always starts when ama, which is sticky, undigested residue, accumulates. And, Panchakarma is like Marie Kondo for your body a little bit, right? Except for instead of throwing out sweaters, we're getting rid of unprocessed, undigested gunk, and we're doing medicated enemas and sometimes snorting some ghee or some oil.
We're doing Ayurveda. We're really doing it.
We really do the Ayurveda. So the 5 actions of Panchakarma are vamana, a little bit of induced vomiting. We don't generally do that in our Panchakarma. Virechana is cleansing through the bowels. We usually do that quite a lot. Basti is medicated enemas. We'll talk a bit about Basti and colonics. And then Nasya, nasal therapy, snorting the
My
oil.
favorite.
Yeah, love to do some oil up the nose. And then
Love it.
Rakta Moksha is also there. And this is rarely done because it's bloodletting. And now it's sometimes practiced with leeches. And actually leeches are coming back into even the medical world.
They are.
There's
Yeah.
a whole branch of the Seattle hospital dedicated to leeching and its science.
How amazing.
I know.
I didn't know that.
It's
I love
not
that.
my jam personally, but I know people who keep pet leeches and regularly leech themselves.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Each their own.
Right, exactly. But Panchakarma is not a detox, okay? We have to remove ourselves out of the idea of detox and detox culture. It's really rejuvenating and karmic cleansing process.
And also incredibly tuned to the individual. That's why these processes aren't always done for each person. It really depends on where they are and what time of their life and all of that. And we'll get into all of that too, I'm sure.
Absolutely. And so the idea is that it's a ritual purification and also a physical purification where you shed anything that's heavy or stagnant or unresolved so that the subtle channels, what we call the shrotas of the body and mind and the spirit, can come into flow again. Right?
Yes. Beautiful.
Yeah. So
we can even say, I think we can even say, Panchakarma isn't necessarily for everyone. It really, really depends on their life, their lifestyle, time of life. It's not let's just do a little detox. That word, that's a bad word. Detox is not what we're doing.
Well, and actually kind of fad detoxes can cause a lot of imbalance, right? Yes. And this is not like a juice fast or even just a khichdi mono diet. It's a very specific, we equate it to surgery. It's done with a great deal of intention, a great deal of forethought, and with surgical precision in order to bring the body into deep balance.
And also the preparation leading up to, say, an actual surgery in a hospital. We're doing preparations for sometimes months, but at least a month before someone comes to us.
Yes, and they are preparing themselves. And then also afterwards, they're going through a process of rejuvenation and recovery.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's talk about our WTF segment of our lovely podcast, which I wanted to talk about Basti, and I wanted to talk about Nasya. So Basti, it actually means bladder. And it comes from the bladder of an animal that would be used to inoculate the body with a variety of substances. And people kind of freak out about Basti because, it is an enema and people have a lot of feelings about their bums.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're messing around near Muladhara.
Yeah, and people get freaky about their root chakra because they hold a lot there.
Yes.
But no pun intended. But the colon is the seat of Vata dosha. Vata dosha is air and ether, and Vata is the queen of the doshas, of the humors in the body, and it can drive imbalances every which way. And so through treating the colon, through purifying the colon, we are releasing a great deal of ama, a great deal of stagnation, and we're bringing balance to an area that can really get congested. And like colon cancer and rectal cancer are just so on the rise throughout the world, and especially in America. And I have some ideas why I think that is. And I think that we're going to see substantiated by the scientific community that it's monster drinks.
Oh.
Because of the there's a specific caffeine-like substance. I'm forgetting the name of it at the moment that are used.
Taurine?
Taurine, there you go. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the taurine is absorbed by the colon and creates, because we're seeing colon cancer, rectal cancer in really young people, like 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, and it's skyrocketed in the last 5 to 10 years or 15 years. Why is that could be? And so I started thinking, well, what are all these young people doing that would cause colon cancer? And I think it's monster drinks, energy drinks, and specifically Red Bull taurine that is in them that's accumulating in the colon.
That and, the disconnection to nature, the disconnection to their center. There's so much to be said about that, but physical, the external borrowing of energy from those liquid forces that people rely on every single day. And that little bit or a lot of it every single day builds and builds and builds in your tissues.
Yes.
So what are we? Yeah.
Exactly. And so when we do Basti, we are inoculating the colon with substances. There are over 30 types of substances used in Basti. But they can be divided into really two big categories. One is Nuroha Basti, which is like decoction-based cleansing, removes dryness, obstruction. Ama, it's like a storm that clears the air. And then Anuvasana Basti, which is oil-based and nourishing and calms the nerves and lubricates the joints and grounds the psyche. And it's the rain that nourishes the soil. So
and that is the bringing in of nutrients, right? Rather than the taking away. Yeah.
Exactly right. And, many clients report a lot of emotional release, grief, fear, anxiety, letting go from the gut when they practice Basti, because it's a drawing in and then a releasing out. And, the body's been prepared for this. It's not that freaky.
Not so bad.
It's not that freaky.
It's like you or me who's helping prepare. I mean, we've got the best intentions. And
and we're not freaked out. And we're not freaked out about it. So.
And we're not freaky. I mean,
we're so freaky. And because the colon is linked to Muladhara chakra, the root chakra, Basti can reset feelings of safety and rootedness and vitality.
And I remember one of our friends who received a Basti in his Panchakarma retreat said, "Oh, my spine feels so lubricated and free." I think was his quote. Yeah.
Because also the Basti, and we're talking about anal Basti. There are we use this term for other procedures also, but we're talking specifically about specific herbal and oil enemas, right? This clears obstructions in the central channel so that prana, life energy, can move around more freely. You're going to feel good after it if it's done right. And it has to be done right. And it has to be done with care. And it has to be done specifically because, people get really messed up from colonics, right? They think that they need to go do this colon cleanse. And the reason why is it's a high-powered wash, right?
Yeah.
And that's going to wipe away everything that's good also and create a great deal of dryness, right? That's why we're oilating, we're lubricating things. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The colonics, have talked about this before. It's like what happens to a very full river, right? It builds up a lot. The water rushes down. And then what is left when the water recedes? It's this dry earth. So like, I literally think about that every time someone tells me, "Oh, I love colonics. It's the best." I'm like, "Oh, your colon needs some oil now, honey."
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And even
Yeah,
if people are
nourishment.
doing Varechana, which is a
Mm,
taking of ghee or castor oil in a very specific sequence, it's really good that if they do a bit of oil Basti afterwards to
yeah,
lubricate everything, keep everything
yeah,
oiled up. We jokingly say, but it is quite true that when we do Panchakarma for somebody, we're changing their oil because we're literally using gallons of oil on that person.
yeah. It's a very oily weekend.
It is a very oily weekend, right? And this is for many reasons, but oil provides this unctuousness and this ojas, this vitality,
And
that
protection.
and protection, and also so many of us are burnt out and dried
Mm,
out. So we
yes.
are offering deep oleation and an oil change. We need to we change the oil on our car, but we don't change the oil on our body.
Yeah, well, and think about the oil that comes out of the car. It's all gunky and thick and dark and not clear. Think about it's
Right.
like getting all the ama out of your car so that the engine can run really
Hmm.
well and
Yeah.
smooth without too much heat, without too much friction. We want everything to flow and go smooth.
Right. Exactly. And so let's talk about also nasya, which is
Yeah.
oil in the other end.
My personal favorite that has changed my life ever since I started on the path.
So say
Yeah.
what it is and
Nasya.
why you love it so much.
Yeah. So Nasya is the application of oil in the nasal passages. You can do it with like a little dropper of oil. The oils could be medicated, or it could be a plain oil that's appropriate for your dosha. Sesame oil is much preferred because it has the small molecules of the oils can go in deeper to the tissues. It's bone penetrating, right? So sesame oil, unrefined, organic, whatever we can find, high quality sesame oil, or a medicated oil, particular from one of those companies that makes the medicated oil, or you can make your own medicated oil. So yeah, you just lean your head back, drop a few little droplets of nourishing oil in each nose, each nostril, and you inhale. So you're kind of snorting oil, and you get the oil to go up into your sinuses, your nasal passages. You can massage across the bridge of your nose, up around the eyebrows, up in the third eye point. And this changed my life because I am very prone to dryness and very prone to nosebleeds. I'm pretty high pitta dosha, but I have a major tendency towards vata dysregulation, as most of our modern culture does. So Nasya has literally changed a lot for me, going from different climates. I travel quite a bit. So moving climates is not usually a problem at this point, especially going into high dry altitudes. Just keep the Nasya oil flowing. You can do it several times a day. And the other effect that it has is it really helps with mental clarity. It really helps with groundedness, especially those like the vrittis, the whirling of the mind, the kind of thoughts that are cycling or at the forefront of your mind that tend to have like an anxious or pranic flavor to them. So it's really helpful to ground an overactive mind, which I tend to have, and a lot of us tend to have. What did our wonderful teacher Scott? He said, "Our minds are at best negatively compulsive."
Right.
So anything we can do to help ground those automatic thoughts that we don't necessarily have control over until we learn how to respond and breathe with our, with our practices that we are so blessed to have been given. So that's a little bit about Nasya oil. What did I miss? Did I miss anything?
It clears the sinuses. It helps with brain fog. It helps with allergies. It helps with nosebleed and any karmic cobwebs that are between the eyebrows. It's a wonderful, wonderful practice. And it can be a daily practice,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And pretty much at any season, except it's very helpful in springtime for me. Where we live in a very windy, cold place. It can be very cold in the springtime, especially when kapha dosha is building. So it's an odd time for it to be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to stick more oil in my nose. But here the winds dry everything out so much that for me, it's very helpful to then help build the layer that also helps protect from allergens, pollen, and all of the things that are going around in springtime. Yeah, but pretty much any time, unless you have actual congestion in your nose, you can practice Nasya, which is wonderful. Yeah. It's a fun one.
And, I just want to insert a word here about, neti pot, which has become so popular. And neti is this wonderful thing, especially if there's a lot of congestion, but it can create more dryness. And so I'll see people who are doing so much neti to clear their nostrils, and then they're getting dry, and then the body throws up a bunch of mucus because that's what it does to combat dryness. And they can get into this cycle, much as people do with like really intensive fad cleansing in their nasal passages.
Totally. Yes. Right. Because when vata is so high, our body starts to have kapha rise. It's like, I'm going to help, but in the worst way possible. Let's have some more mucus on this. Yeah. When you're trying to like clear the mucus, it's this cycle that could tend to happen. Yeah.
Yes. So, back to Panchakarma, it's not a spa cleanse. It's really a ritual death and rebirth. Like we strip down, we get daily oil baths, herbal scrubs, sweating, enemas, purges, mantra soaked rest, and we become the churned ocean, right? And before I give the myth that I was going to give, what kind of fashion, music, movie do we have for Panchakarma?
Oh my gosh. Whoa. Okay. Ooh, let me think about this I wasn't prepared for that. I forgot about that part.
Well, let's do it anyhow. So, let's talk music, it's like ambient sounds,
it's ambient sounds. It's also definitely like there's a spacey element that I'm feeling because you do enter into a cosmic place. You kind of enter ethereal realms sometimes. So it could even be like Gregorian chanting or something like that, because there's pretty cathartic moments that can happen through Panchakarma treatments. Gosh.
Yeah, exactly. Gregorian chants. Also just like Krishna Das, chanting to Krishna over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
Into that timelessness.
Yeah, we do a lot of Krishna mantra. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Or Shiva mantra.
Yes.
And fashion is like a loincloth.
Exactly. All I could think of was like literal like robes, maybe covering just the privates, but maybe not.
Maybe like a sarong that you don't care if it gets soaked in oil.
No, yeah. Or it's like, think of yourself in a cocoon wrapped in, but it's very oily.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
Kind of stuck there until we help you get up.
Yeah. Exactly.
oil soaked loincloths.
Yeah, that's all you need. That's fine, right? And with like Saturn aspecting Mars, this is a great time to talk about Panchakarma, right? Because Saturn is kind of putting out our digestive fire right now.
Yeah, Saturn is like, it's also the end of summer, and like your Agni is like pathetic right now anyways.
Yeah.
And like you're gonna have to do some cleansing probably, and Mars is gonna be like, well, like you have to do it really, really good. And then Saturn's like, oh well, you're gonna have to do it again.
Yeah. I
Uh,
wonder, I'm trying to think about movies. It's like what movies are all
oh,
about like cleansing ancestral trauma and ties and like cleansing and
gosh.
purifying the body. I don't even know. I don't like have one in my mind.
I know. I mean, okay, so oddly, the
Bring
movie
it.
Alien just came
But yeah,
came in
try yes.
because they're kind of in some of like there's so many different ones, but like they're kind of getting, you know, when the alien gets like in their body, like they have to like it's making its way out and it's not comfortable. And there's a lot of like goo and
Yeah. I,
possibly
I think yes.
messy messy stuff that happens when the alien comes out. And I really feel like especially the like cutting of dark energies, like this can come
Yes.
along.
I agree with you.
So Alien, okay.
I love that.
That's
I
good.
think that that is a really, really good choice of film. Great job.
Gosh.
We're gonna scare everyone off Panchakarma.
It's really fun, you guys.
It's really
Um,
great. You need it. It brings you into
you need
balance.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you have to do an interview first to make sure that you really need it.
Oh, absolutely. We don't just let anyone into this process. And we only do one a
Right.
month also, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. At the
Um,
most. Yeah.
yeah. So, once upon a time, long, long ago, and far, far away, simultaneously right here and right now, remember the Samudra Manthan, the churning of the ocean. And this is when the devas and the asuras, the demons and the angels, are churning the cosmic ocean to bring forth the Amrit, the nectar of immortality. And as they're churning and churning and churning, what emerges first is the poison. It shoots up out of this churning of the ocean, because this is what happens in Panchakarma. Before we get to the nectar, we have to churn up the sludge and we
Mm-hmm.
have to heat up the body and aggravate the body a tiny bit to get those poisons to leave from the body, leave out and down through the colon, leave through the skin. Usually we really like it to leave out and down through the colon, right? Because before
Mm-hmm.
we get to the nectar, we got to get into that sludge, and your tissues release stored toxins and old grief and even existential dread that you've been pushing down with your lovely oat milk and turmeric lattes.
Mm.
And so, as this poison erupts out of the churning of the buttermilk ocean, you know, all the sides hope to gain all these treasures, and they will gain them. But first, this huge fountain of poison emerges, and everybody's really worried that if this poison can destroy the world, right? And so all of the devas go to Shiva, the great god of yoga, and they pray to Shiva, and he does this beautiful thing. He he takes the fountain of poison into his mouth and he brings it into his throat, where he completely transforms the poison in his throat. And this is why Shiva is known, one of his names is Nilakanta. It means the blue-throated one, because he's left with a little mark, a blue mark at his throat where he's transformed this poison. Yeah. And so this is our wonderful story for today and for um, Panchakarma, because Panchakarma is a release of old toxins, and this poison is called the hala hala. It's like, I love the name of it. It's the hala
Yeah.
hala, right? This poison that comes out of the buttermilk ocean. And Shiva doesn't destroy the poison. He doesn't let it spread. He contains it. He transforms destruction into wisdom. So it's holding shadow and trauma and toxins without letting them consume you and actually transforming them. And yeah, and the throat is Nilakanta. This is the purification center. And so what you speak and sing and chant and express is transformed, but through confronting what is toxic. And, when Shiva, he agreed to contain this poison, and so he cupped the hala hala into his hands and drank it. And Parvati, his consort, rushed in to stop it from descending into his stomach. Because if it descended into his stomach, it would destroy all creation. And so she pressed her hands to his throat, holding the poison there. Parvati helps him, and it lodges in his neck, turning this radiant blue color, the blue-throated one, right? And so this is the feminine hand, the guiding touch of discernment, that not everything needs to be swallowed down. Some things are meant to be held and transmuted and express as wisdom. And so this is Shiva, the fearless container of poison, and then Parvati, the wise regulator who prevents collapse. And together they demonstrate this compassion plus discernment. Yeah.
So beautiful.
Yay. And really, this is about sacred boundaries. It's about compassion with discernment. It's about healing being relational, right? And this is in part what we do in Panchakarma. I mean, we are with you for 3 or 4 days, sitting with you, holding space, holding a container. This is not surgery when you're in the dark and then you never see the surgeon again. We are in a relational field throughout the process.
Yeah, we're feeding you.
Yeah.
We're holding you.
Yeah.
Quite literally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, Om Namah Shivaya. Srimate Namah. Thank you so much for joining us today, Emily.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. And I look forward to next time.
Yay. Bye.
Bye. Much love.
Welcome to Third Eye Roll, where ancient wisdom gets decoded, demystified, and occasionally roasted. I'm Dr. Justine Lemos with Scarlet Trillia, here to serve up Vedic insights, spiritual real talk, and a healthy dose of side-eye. Each episode, we're diving into Vedic astrology, Ayurveda, Tantra, and the weird beauty of being human, with segments like cosmic, current events, story time with the Vedas and Shastras, WTF is that? And a mystic mic drop to leave you lit. No gurus, no fluff, just the good stuff.